Okay, this video is going to be over the Optimus HE cook system. They call it the weekend cook system. As you can see, I got it all laid out. I got the windscreen here. I have the pot that's got the built-in heat exchanger here. I have this is the Optimus crook stove. This is not the light. The light doesn't fold. It saves just a little bit of weight. I'm not sure. I have to look it up, and I'll include it in the description how much weight it saves. But it's not enough for me to want to save it because I like the ability to fold. See how that snaps around, and then it'll come back just like that. It nests up underneath the actual fuel here. This is the pouch that actually nests underneath the stove. You stick underneath the fuel. You stick the stove in here, cradles up underneath it. What it does, it takes advantage of this indentation in the pot as not wasting space. This is the bag that comes in the system. It's a little nesting bag. It just cradles everything together and keeps it secure. And this is the actual lid slash, they call it a frying pan. I guess you could fry in it, something very small. You can see compared to my hand the size. I actually use it. I find it more useful using it as a actual cup to eat out of. I actually cook my food in here and then put it in here and eat it because with that handle I can hold it. This is, now in my cook set, I have a little titanium foldable spork fire steel in my fuel. I won't be adding those the weight for those items in the blog or the video. I won't be adding the weight in this video either. Actually, if I'll put a link in here that takes you to my blog where I have pictures and everything listed, items listed, and how much it weighs. But anyway, the test I'm going to do today is I'm going to actually test it, how long it takes to boil 2 cups of water. 2 cups of water is about the average. Cup and a half, 2 cups of water is about the average everybody has for backpacker meals or those dehydrated meals you just add boiling water to. So I'm going to test it with that. And then I'm going to actually, today's a good day. It's 46 degrees in my garage. I just checked the temperature a while ago. But I got about a 20 mile an hour, 15, 20 mile an hour gust outside. It's really cold. So I'm going to test it in the garage to see how long it takes to boil 2 cups of cold water. Then I will test it outside utilizing the windscreen, and we'll see how efficient it is with the windscreen, but to boil 2 cups of water. But anyway, all right, we'll start a test here in just a minute. Okay, I got everything set up, and as you can see, I'm using the typical MSR Isopro fuel. But what I've done is, you can see it's 392 grams is the weight of the fuel in the stove before the actual boil. You can see here I got 2, I don't know if you can see that or not, there's lines inside that cup. But I'm right at 16, just right on the line, 16 ounces of water. So I'm going to get the fire started and we'll see how long it takes to boil 2 cups of cold water. Okay, we got a flame going. And just so nobody doesn't think I've already heated up the water, you can see I got my finger in the water. So now we're going to turn this up. I got my stopwatch right here. And I'm going to put the water on the flame. Start it. And turn it wide open. And grab a bowl. Stop that. That was 1 minute 29 seconds we were boiling. So now I'm going to do the next video. I'm going to take it outside with the windscreen in the wind, and we'll test this again and see how long it takes with the windscreen on. But before we do that, let's take this off. Let's get our scale back over here. And let's see how much fuel we burn in the process of doing that. It's still on grams. And we're at 385. So you can see, I can't remember what it was before, I didn't write it down, so I'll post in the video once I do the math, but to see how many grams fuel we actually burned, but I don't think it was very much. But anyway, the next test will be out in the wind. Okay, I'm out here in the wind. Trust me, it's windy. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's it says 477 grams. If you can't see that, I apologize. But it says 477 grams. So I'm going to test it before we actually get started. I'll test it afterwards to see how much fuel it used. Now I also apologize if you can't hear me that well. The wind is, as you can see, the wind is blowing. I mean, it is blowing. I would hate to be in this kind of wind to camping anyway, or trying to cook, period. But this is like extreme conditions here. I'm putting it to the test. I got the windshield on, the windscreen, and we're gonna see how efficient, if at all, if it can keep it lit in this kind of wind. But we're about to test it. This is actually my first time ever testing the stove in this kind of wind. Once again, I got 2 cups of water in the pot, and I'm gonna lay the phone down just a minute, get the stove lit, and then we're gonna start the timer. Like I said, I got crazy wind blowing around here. I mean, it's blowing in all different directions, gusting from different directions, mainly coming out of the north, but it's pretty crazy. It's coming from all over the place. And I got her wide open. And we'll see what happens. See? About 1:45. I think it's going to take about 2 minutes. So it's starting to run. But 2 minutes outside and this wind is pretty crazy. And after I get done with this one, this is just my demo in the high wind to see how efficient the stove was. After this, I'm going to do one more. I actually go over, there we go. We got a boil. We're at 205. We'll stop at 207. Come to a complete boil. But you can see there, we were at, let me pick it up. We were at 207. It's 2 minutes, 7 seconds to bring it to a boil. Okay, just made it back in. Brought the stove back in, poured the water out. Now I want to do a little reflect on everything I like about the stove. And I forgot to tell you guys, at the end of that, I forgot to weigh it, so I went back and looked at the scale. It was 466 grams, so I'll do the math, post that in the video too, what it actually burned. But it did pretty good. I mean, considering, the amount of wind that was blowing out there and the temperature outside. I think the wind chill was like 45 degrees, and the wind chill was supposed to make it feel like it was like 32, 34, something around there. I'm not real sure. The wind was blowing pretty hard. But the wind, I got to honestly say that I was impressed with the windscreen. It really did well, because I've used this stove before I ever got the windscreen for it. I used it without the windscreen, and I couldn't even keep it lit. In winds like that, I was had lake winds up at a place I was camping out on a point, out on a lake, huge lake up in east Georgia, and the winds it was crazy. I tried to build a homemade windscreen. I tried to put my backpack inside it. It was just, the winds were so bad I couldn't keep it going. Wound up eating dry, crunchy ramen noodles that day, which they ain't too bad either. But anyway, I like this stove. I really do. Like I said, I own a couple different stoves, and I own a Primus Etta Light. I got it from I was contemplating getting that at a Jet Boil, and it just happened to be in a Mass General store, and found that they had on clearance for like $30 or something like that, and that's the reason I wound up with it, and I like it. It's efficient, and but the reason I like this setup the best, this has always been my go-to for cooking and everything is because it's kind of like it's in between. I like it because it's not too small that you can just about only boil water in it, like a lot of them are. They're just good for boiling 2 cups of water and adding to a hydrated meal. And it's not so big that you feel like you're bringing the whole kitchen sink with you when you go camping. It's just big enough. It's got that 0.95 liter pot, and the pot is not tall, it's wide. And I think that's the advantage of it, because you can tell anybody that's dealt with these canister stoves, you'll notice I got one of the large MSR IsoPro fuel canisters in that pot, so it tells you how wide the pot is. So it's good to cook in. I can cook fettuccine alfredo in this. Cooked it several times, or I can boil water really fast if I just need boiling water. I can. Another thing I like about it is I can put one of my Nalgene water bottles, 1 liter wide mouth water bottles, which fits my water filter. I can also take the water and put it in here, put the whole bottle's worth in here, boil it, pour it back into the Nalgene bottle, stick it in the bottom of my sleeping bag, and the next morning I get up, it's cooled down and I can drink it because I boiled it and don't have to worry about anything in it. But I just like it. The pros to this thing is it's light, it's convenient, you can cook in it, it boils water, it's fuel efficient. I mean, you can tell 7 grams of fuel is not very much to boil 2 cups of water. I know there's some out there that's probably more efficient, they're probably faster, but that's fine. I mean, like I said, this is just my opinion. I'm by far no means an expert in any of this. I'm just telling you my experiences, and I've tried several. I've tried the Pocket Rocket, and all the way up to a Whisper Light, and I always seem to go back to this. Now, if I lived somewhere in higher, where I had higher altitudes or colder weather, I probably would use something like a MSR Whisper Light. But for around here where I hike, I mean, this is a good stove. Like I said, the pros is I like the pot, I like the windscreen, I like the weight. I like the fact that it's not so big that you feel like you can't pack it, but you can actually cook in it. If I had any cons about it, I'd say the one con is this little regulator. It's move in a little bit. When you're trying to turn it down to a simmer, it's kind of hard with this heat exchanger, because this heat exchanger is what makes it so efficient. And when you're trying to cook in it, it can be a little tedious to turn that down and get it just right, so that flame keeps wanting to die down on you a little bit, and you have to play with that a little bit. But that's the only downside I can actually say about it. It's the only thing I can say that's a downside. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do, subscribe, and you'll see more of my upcoming videos and reviews. But I'll be back with you. Thanks.